Hello everyone! So, I'm Hyrule Gamer, and if you didn't know already, the Legend of Zelda series is my favourite gaming series of all time, and one of them is also my favourite game of all time, but that's for another top 5 video. I have a little bit of news about my new series that is coming out very soon at the end of the video. Anyway, here is my top 5 bosses in the Legend of Zelda. At number 5 is LANMALAS from The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. First of all, A Link to the Past was a game I loved playing growing up. Despite mostly playing the Game Boy Advance version and only recently playing the SNES version, I loved this boss fight because at the time of playing it, for the first time ever, it was really hard for me, and it was such a challenge, which is what I enjoy about boss battles in Zelda. LANMALAS is the second boss in A Link to the Past and is a good boss for playing the game for the first time, as it does create a good challenge and is definitely a fun and exciting battle. I'm really glad A Link to the Past is going to be on the SNES Classic. If I am able to get a SNES Classic, I will love being able to fight LANMALAS again and just play for the game again in general. The battle consists of 3 LANMALAS attacking you from all over the boss room as they dig underground and then pop back up. Although it doesn't look that hard, it can be pretty unpredictable where they pop up from under the ground, and can take a bit getting used to be able to actually hit LANMALAS. And that's why it gets the number 5 spot on my top 5 Legend of Zelda bosses. Moving on to number 4, it's FYRUS, the boss for the Goron mines in The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. And before I even get started on why I love this boss so much, I want to say the Goron Mines dungeon in Twilight Princess is an amazing dungeon in my opinion, and it's definitely one of my favourite dungeons in the Legend of Zelda series. Anyway, FYRUS is one of my favourite bosses, mainly because of how awesome the battle is in my opinion. As soon as I entered that room for the first time, I was presented with an unknown looking enemy. I was confused until FYRUS lit up and broke loose and started swinging his chains around and quite literally put fear into me. I mean, just look at FYRUS. FYRUS looks extremely angry, and I guess you could say, and is ready to destroy anything in his way. And your task is to defeat this beast that you're faced with. I love the mechanics of the fight, especially the part where you must pull on FYRUS's chains attached to his feet, and pull him down to get some damage done to him. And to have this great boss so early in the game is something I personally loved, as FYRUS is only the second boss in Twilight Princess. The story behind FYRUS is something I love as well, as FYRUS, there is actually one of the Goron elders behind the fused shadow piece that has possessed the Goron. That's why I love the FYRUS boss battle so much. So that is why it gets the number 4 spot for me on my top 5 Legend of Zelda bosses. Now for number 3, GHIRAHIM from The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword is a Zelda game filled with story and plot, with lots of stuff packed into the game, and the Demon Lord GHIRAHIM is one of them. GHIRAHIM is a boss in Skyward Sword on more than one occasion, and he is the boss for the Skyview Temple and the Fire Sanctuary. As well as towards the very end of the game, you battle GHIRAHIM once more at the sealed grounds for a final battle before you find out what GHIRAHIM really is. Each encounter with GHIRAHIM is slightly harder and he uses more advanced fighting techniques and is still as creepy as the last time, and all his weirdness and stuff, if you could call it that. For example, him licking his lips at Link and showing no fear towards him. Out of the 3 battles between Link and GHIRAHIM, the one I enjoyed playing the most was the final battle at the sealed grounds, leading up to the final boss battle against DEMISE, because it created such a good and intense build up. Not to forget, you see the imprisoned after defeating him as well, and I honestly hated fighting the imprisoned when I first played Skyward Sword, but little did I know there was much worse to come. I also just love the design of GHIRAHIM in general, and his odd personality. I think Nintendo got that spot on, and that's why GHIRAHIM takes the number 3 spot on my top 5 bosses in The Legend of Zelda. Now for number 2, Ganondorf from The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. I've played Twilight Princess at least 3 times through now, And each one of those times it was so amazing, and I loved the final boss battle against Ganondorf. Similar to GHIRAHIM, there is multiple battles against Ganondorf, but this time they were all together. The final boss battle in Twilight Princess consists of Ganondorf possessing Zelda, and you have to take on a puppet Zelda. Then after you've got Zelda back, you're locked in the throne room of Hyrule Castle with what is now Dark Beast Ganon, just like in Breath of the Wild, but it was actually challenging and a little bit hard in Twilight Princess, and was intense as well. And then you're out of Hyrule Castle, with Zelda and Midna standing in Hyrule Field as you see Hyrule Castle crumble in the distance. Then to see Ganondorf on horseback, and you must battle him on horseback until you manage to knock him off. Then comes the final boss battle against Ganondorf, and boy, it's an extremely epic boss battle. I was really stuck on a decision whether to put this boss battle at number 1 or not, but it gained my number 2 spot. All the sword combat against Ganondorf is just so epic, and I loved it and still do love it. It's one of my favourite parts in Twilight Princess, dueling blade to blade against Ganondorf, and then delivering that final blow and defeating Ganondorf. And all that epicness is why Ganondorf has got my number 2 spot in my top 5 Zelda bosses. Coming in at number 1, Demise, the final boss in The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword. Now, with already having GHIRAHIM in this top 5, I've already said how good I think Skyward Sword is, but this boss battle, well, it's the boss battle which in the Zelda timeline means a lot, as this is the battle where Demise left his curse on Hyrule after Link defeated him. Of course, that's not the only reason it's my favourite boss battle. It's my favourite boss battle in The Legend of Zelda. There's also the fact that it's so epic and intense all the way through the great battle, and just how terrifying Demise looks, and how big his sword is, and the setting you're in as well. There is no escape. You're battling Demise on land with a very shallow water at your feet, and you're actually in a lightning storm as well. Just above you, it creates a really intense feeling to the battle. When I first went into that battle against Demise, I got stuck and actually had to wait until the next day to try again, as I found it too hard to beat Demise. I was planning out what I would do the next day to defeat Demise, and in the end I did, and I loved that moment. Just like Ganondorf from Twilight Princess delivering that final blow to finish him off, only this time with Demise. That is why Demise gains my number 1 spot on my top 5 Zelda bosses. Well, that's my top 5 boss battles in The Legend of Zelda. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Now that I'm officially off school for summer, I can get back to a good upload schedule. I'm hoping to put out 2 to 3 videos a week. So, I mentioned at the start of the video I had news about my new series, so here it is. My new series still does not have a name yet, however I have explained in a previous video what it will consist of, and for the Q&A part of each episode I am now looking for questions for the first Q&A for my new series, so feel free to comment a question below. It does not have to be Zelda or Nintendo related, just nothing personal please. There will also be posts on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and Zelda Amino if you want to ask your question over on there. The new series should start within a few weeks, so look out for that. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.